Somebody asked me a long time ago about which is my go-to ship for Krakens, and I said, well, there are a couple, but I don't really play for Krakens in any particular ship. If they come to me, they come to me. And I often play the ships that I haven't played and got a Kraken in. This one's the Tier 6 Akatsuki, and that's my build for it, that those want to know. We're on Greece, it's domination, and you know in domination mode that caps are king. They can help you win the game a lot quicker than killing all of the ships, but sometimes one comes before the other. Now, when I was playing this game, I took a few risks early on because there is a division with two destroyers and a cruiser. Now, the chances are that those two destroyers and the cruiser are going to stick together. There's also a carrier in the match, and I would like to give a shout out to Nuke Seer 10, who's a member of a couple of the groups that I'm in on the PlayStation, because he is the carrier commander in this game and did a very good job of holding Red Team back across there on Charlie Cap, and I think he gets a well-deserved third spot in this game. I think that is the end result. So what I was going to do was to spot through this gap, but then having seen that it looks like the division of two destroyers and cruiser are heading across to Charlie Cap, I start to get a little bit brave, and I'm thinking, have we only got battleships on this side of the map? So I think, well, instead of sitting on this side, what I'm going to do is I'm going to sneak around through to the other side, hopefully not bump into any cruisers, and I'm going to keep these guys spotted for my team. Because as you all know, carriers can show you where ships are, but they won't spot for you. And that means you need a destroyer out here to spot for you, so you've got targets to shoot at. So in taking a little bit of a gamble here and pushing through to the opposite side of this cap, to the south side, I get a little bit too close and get spotted. Now watch this. The California obviously had me dialed in. He's going to blind fire that smoke, look. Boom. That was a pretty chunky hit for around half of my hit points, but I did get my torpedoes away. The North Carolina has slammed the brakes on and he's turning in, but that isn't going to be quite enough to save him. He goes out for a dev strike, not a first blood, because we've lost one of our other destroyers. And then the Queen Elizabeth, because she has slammed on the brakes out there on the map, the stop is going to take a couple more torpedoes as well. And because I am the one spotting, I'm going to push back out of my smoke screen. We've taken this cap, and I'm going to keep these guys spotted and let my team do some damage. I've always got one eye on the minimap. You'll notice that nobody has gone into B cap yet, even though it is completely uncontested. We've got two battleships sat out on around the 11 o'clock position of B cap that could have very easily sneaked in and taken that cap away from Red Team, but they haven't. So I decide that I'm going to pull a 180 and I'm going to head across to B cap and tell the team that we should take it, indicating on the map that the two plums that are camped behind a rock should actually consider sailing into the cap and earning themselves a little bit of extra XP. California is turning and running, Queen Elizabeth is turning and running, and a big mistake that people often make in this game, especially with destroyers, is to go chasing after those ships. Now with one cap each, it would come down to kills. And we're pretty even on the kills for the team as well. It's 7v7 with one cap each. So the thing that is going to give us the lead now is to push in and secure B cap, which will give us an extra 3 points every 5 seconds. So every 5 seconds we'll be getting 6 points. Red team will only be getting 3. And if we continue then to kill their ships and don't let them kill ours, unlike the California across there, which gives Red team the lead, we are now playing to pull back that lead. We're only about 50 points behind, but it does give Red Team the advantage. And because I've come into this cap, you'll notice that the California and the Queen Elizabeth have dropped spot. So I'm going to push through to the middle here, and I'm watching my twist and track indicator like a hawk, as well as watching the seconds countdown on the cap timer, because you'll notice that that twist and track indicator, or perceptive, whichever one you're running, has flipped across to the left, which tells me that there is a target closer than either of those battleships on my right hand side. So I've moved my guns across there, I've taken the cap, and now I'm going to get off the cap just in case there is something pushing in towards me. So I'm talking you through the way my mind is working as this game develops. Now, the two battleships, they're out there, they're running, they're at the back of the map. I'm confident that we have the advantage now with two caps. I can always turn around, even though we're 4 ships down to 2. The California and the Queen Liz are both going to be running, and the carrier is spotted there at the back of the map. But I need to get rid of that California to clear the path for me. But that carrier is going to do me a huge favour in a little while. And we'll get to that in a moment. So we're only on 1 kill. It was a dev strike. We've got 2 cap assists there, because it appears as though Blue Team did decide they wanted to come in and help me on that one. And we get the Ramat spotted, and we call for fire on him. Now, if we were under the old spotting ways of carriers, I would be turning round and heading back towards my team, because I would not want to get spotted by that Ramat, because he would absolutely fill me full of holes and I would be out of the game, and Red Team would most certainly win this. But all I've got to do is keep my head on the swivel a little bit, and here we go. The Ranger, knowing that is spotted, is now coming looking for me. He's got torpedo bombers out for me, but we're going to get away from those quite easily. But he is going to come round and have another couple of goes at us. So we're going to get our torpedoes on the run, just in case he gets lucky and lands a hit. The Ramat is twisting and turning, obviously because he's being shot at by battleships and cruisers. And so I didn't expect those torpedoes to really hit him, but it was one of those things where you just sling them out there and hope you get lucky. By turning into the carrier's torpedo planes, we're forcing him to drop early, but he's not going to get much of a chance to drop any more bombs or torpedoes on anyone, because he is going to disappear back to port with a dev strike from those salvos of torpedoes. Didn't even need to look there to see that he was going to disappear. So, to maintain the advantage, because we have pulled back the lead now, we've got a healthy lead. We're going to spam some torpedoes across there. Not necessarily to hit the Ramat, but with those torpedoes going across there, it's going to limit his movement. So while he's trying to focus on the ships that might be shooting at him, he's also going to have to be aware of the fact that those torpedoes are coming towards him. And that might force him into a turn, which puts him broadside to a battleship, and he could disappear in one salvo. Little game of hide and seek coming up, because we know the Queen Elizabeth is down there. Queen Elizabeth obviously has not learned that what used to be a spotter plane on the ship is no longer a spotter plane. It is purely a fighter plane, and if I didn't know where he was anywhere, that plane would have completely given him away. And I'm just lining him up for the next kill. I was hoping that actually I might get a hit on the Ramat for 4th kill, because that would make this Queen Elizabeth a Kraken kill. But the Ramat goes out to somebody else there, and so the Queen Elizabeth I want to be my next victim. There are 3 ships left in the game, so there is potential here for the Kraken. You might have seen from the splash screen exactly that it is Kraken number 183, so a bit of a spoiler there, but it is who is going to be, victim number 5. Another tip for destroyer players there, a lot of battleship players are aware of when they are being targeted and when they are not by a destroyer. And they will wait to see when they are targeted, and then the targeting goes off. And that's when they'll put in their turn. So I'm going to just draw the attention of this Queen Elizabeth, and we get a fire on, which is immediately damage controlled. So I pop my smoke, drop detection. He knows I'm here. Even if those torpedoes are missed, I could have continued to sail away, waited for his damage control to finish, and then I could have set him on fire again, and that ship would have burned to the ground, and it would have been pretty much a guaranteed kill anyway. But we've cracked through 100,000 damage, which is always a nice milestone to hit. A couple of dev strikes there. There's one ship left in the game. It's a destroyer. I think it's a Farragut. And in a straight gunfight, and looking at the hit points that we've got left, yes, he would most definitely win. But I'm thinking, there's a cruiser there. We still have our carrier. There's a chance that we can run this guy down and keep him spotted. We've got a 500-point advantage now. So there was a little bit of a seesaw at the beginning and at the end over who was having the lead. But we've managed to keep control of those 2 capture points. We are just going to put spreads of torpedoes out of that way, just in case this destroyer tries to run towards us. Again, it gives him something to think about if he's trying to target me, and all of a sudden there's loads of little red dots heading his way. But there he is. It's a Mars, not a Farragut, sorry. And first salvo lands just behind him, so we're going to lead him a little bit more. We're waiting for the reload. The cruiser's there, and I'm thinking, am I going to get it? Is the cruiser going to get it? The cruiser lands the salvo, but I take around 500 hit points there to take the kill for Kraken number 183. So there we go. For those that say I just play low tier ships for Krakens, yeah, we're getting into the higher tiers here, and there are plenty of high tier and legendary ship Krakens on the playlist. We get top spot there, and Nuke gets third. And just to prove that I wasn't giving you any bullshit at the start, that was proof that that was my first game of the day. If you don't believe me, wind it back and look at the timestamps on the game. So I hope you have enjoyed that one. It was certainly a bit of a photo finish for the Kraken there. Glad to have picked it up. Akatsuki earns the right to fly the Jolly Roger, because that's the only ships in my collection that do fly the Jolly Roger, and this is another one for the Kraken collection. Until next time, take care. Goodbye.